Oi, malungil o song mira arvela urogui etiang toko betel Kausischakl. Etiang ome elel sel kot program ra UPF.
Yes.
Kita matangel was sel time na tiang gania Dr. Kito. Merly Barlan,
Yes.
Christina, that was her name then, and Geoffrey Fires. Tiraga nga adra UPF, tiraga conductor sel conference ra strong family building. El sponsor niya First Lady ra Blurbelo. Kita Mr. Trier misel koten introduction or tir sila koten metyan no regel boila. Isa mamal update ra adra rogo ira. Ay gel ko plan rule merela mga ra os ngedel girela. A conference lo ringin morila December 7.
December 9, 10, 11.
9, 10, 11. But Sunday. So good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Ali.
Ali.
I have locally introduced you again.
Yes, thank you.
Geoffrey Fires. I'm lekir Palau for 6 years. I'm lekir abang gamam. Rao si siul teletay ro ng sirang la school ma am gerrelat madal mo. Mangga nga adra New Zealand. Hindi lekir Palau bukor de lol marak. Emlo di Busel for how many years have you come? Have you been away for
10 years.
10 years. So the last time you saw us, we were young and strong, and it's 10 years later.
That's right.
But we're still building a strong family.
Yes,
That's our
right.
mission.
That's right.
So thanks again for coming to TMC, and
Thank you. Thank you for
we
having
welcome
us.
you. My first question is how have you been so far?
Oh, great. First of all, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, families of Palau. Good afternoon, Mr. Toribio. Appreciate it for having us here this afternoon. Yes, since we were here last time, we've been all over Palau, actually. We've been meeting friends. We are interviewing families and meeting young people. And we have a good time. And Palauan people are very friendly and very nice people, family oriented and very loving. I love your culture. How about you,
Yeah.
Mr. Fires?
Yeah, no, of course, Palauan people like the weather, very warm-hearted. Yeah, and family is their big concern. And that's part of our purpose coming here, really, is to strengthen what you already know and make it even better, we believe, yeah. We have some very important things to share that we have discovered. I've been working in New Zealand a long time as well, and other Pacific Islands I've been to. 15 years I worked in Africa as a missionary, so I understand different cultures, and the issues are very similar that we're all facing in the world that is developing today. There's a lot of family breakdown, and kids get a bit lost on the way. Parents are very busy trying to make ends meet, and more these days the kids are on the internet and on the cell phones. So that's a very common problem that we're all facing. Where do our kids where do they get their information from? And sometimes it's not always the right information, and so it should be from the parents. And that's what we're really talking about. Strong families, like family building is nation building. That's really the motto. If you have a strong families and a strong family culture, you can make a strong nation.
I was mentioning to you earlier about the law of Palau and the international law.
Yes.
That yesterday was the day of family protection, protect the gender.
Right, yes. Violence against women.
Yeah, violence against women. That is a legal argument. It's
That's
a legal
right.
part of our republic. It's a government of law. What is yours? Because my understanding is we're creating it with love, we're creating it with God. What's the difference between what the law is doing and what you're doing?
Yes, the Interfaith Family Festival, actually, we're looking at it in a holistic point of view.
Yeah, that's what.
Not just more on the legal aspect of it. violence against women, if we understand that there is a spiritual side to it, and just because the relationship of between husband and wife, the parent and children, and in society in general, the violence is when we look at it, there is a physical. It's really the physical manifestation of the violence. But when we look at the root cause of how it happened, then we dig deeper. There is we can find out eventually that there is a spiritual aspect to it, and this is the part where we can help. Instead of talking so much about describing what violence against women and children, because we all know what it is, let's talk about a new paradigm, which is called domestic peace.
Domestic peace.
It sounds nice, right? Yeah. Domestic peace. How to make a family peaceful. And then, so when we think of in this premise, it's kind of easier. Who are the key players in the domestic peace? There is only the husband, the wife, and children. And then in that whole family, there is the governance, there are rules and laws that must be observed in order to achieve peace, just like nation building, right? So this is our premise, is family building is nation building.
And family was consisted of love, yeah, so
Yes. So looking at it in a holistic way, when we start with understanding why the husband and wife need to have a common purpose, and by themselves just thinking of their own desire, then that creates friction right there. Like, I want this, I want that, and you are not paying attention to what I want. So when the husband and the wife come to understanding and they have a common purpose, which is God. Without God, without love that is higher than your own love as husband and wife, it is very difficult to come to terms in terms of making peace. So through the family, that there is an education, there is like education program that we give to the husband and wife before they even get married, for young people. And it's very important. It's called Family as the School of Love. And I would like Reverend Friars to expound about it, because he has more extensive experience.
I know him.
Yes. Because without love, there can never be peace. There can never be equality.
Anyway, sometimes it's usual for a man, he just wants to get something, a beautiful wife or something like that, and a woman, maybe a man with a house or something, so they want to get something. But the idea behind what we're talking about is, what can I give? What can I give to this family or to this marriage, rather than what can I get? And so when you're all giving something, then something is like that. But when you're always taking, there's not much there, So it's just changing people's sort of thinking about family building. And so it really starts from when you're very young. You get the kids to help you do the dishes, and then they clean up, and just from very young they should be doing that. So already when they get big, they think of what they can contribute, what they can do. And this is very important in raising up the youth these days. I mean, I know it used to be more like that in the past. Kids had duties around the house and things to do, but these days not so much. They're busy, entertaining themselves and not really caring about those things. And then it's all, why should I do this? Why should I do that? Actually, should do that because it's a learning process. Learning how to take care, even of your own bedroom, and then the environment around you. It's sort of like training youth. And what's the main training of youth? Actually, is to make a family. That's what we see. Of course, we need skills at school. You need accounting or business skills. Those things are important. But what is really important is I can say how to make a family, and it's all really about serving each other. I mean, even the Bible says, the greatest among you will be those who serve, and so we need to develop that kind of culture where we serve each other and we help each other, and then that reduces the conflict really in the family when people can really serve each other. Yeah.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
The idea of putting this together
Mm.
is a very sacred idea.
Oh, yes. Yes.
So, what have you done? I know you have visited schools. I know you have met with the government leaders. What about the international members? How many are you expecting, and who are they
Oh, great.
to be part of this monumental thing for this republic? You know.
We have a lot of people that are participating from all over the world, actually, from the Asia Pacific region, and even as far as Central America, Central Asia. We have first ladies coming, former first ladies. We have speakers of the house. We have sports figure, very famous sports figure. We couldn't confirm right. I mean, we could not say right now because we just need to take care of little details. But there are key stakeholders in the world and in our countries. They want to participate and work with us because, as our theme says, addressing the critical challenges of our time: interdependence, mutual prosperity, and universal values. And in order to create the sustainability of the whatever peace we have, relative peace we have right now, which we need to sustain, we need to have good relationship, not just in the family, but in the national level and international level. So, yeah, we will have around 200 VIPs coming, and local Palauan VIPs as well, and families.
Okay, so let's go back to the program one more time.
Yes.
What do I get if I attend, especially on the Interfaith Family Festival?
This is
What you can guarantee me if I bring my wife for the full day of the festival?
We have, first of all, the experience of standing together with you, with the love of your life, together with many families, many husbands and wives from all over the world, and standing in front, we call it, because it's spiritual, we call it in front of heaven and earth, making a statement to the whole world. It will be the live coverage, live stream all over the world, and making a statement that we come together as one family to make a statement that we want to save our families in terms of the social problems, the peace that is being compromised right now by our environment, and together as one global family, we make this commitment to be the owners of our own family, our own nation, and build a beautiful world together for our children, for the next generation. And when you do it together with all these high-level people, it is a commitment that far beyond our own personal commitment. Sometimes, by our own personal commitment, it's easy to back out when we are compromised, when we encounter difficult situations, right? But when you do it, when you do it publicly and in front of God, in front of the people you love, in front of the country, for the sake of the country. So, family building is nation building. I want to make this commitment. Then you stand in a position as the owner of peace. And we do it together. That's number one benefit, that the level of your commitment as a leader right there. And then second is that personal fulfilling, rewarding experience when you exchange your vows once again. The vows
in front of the world.
In front of the world. maybe before 20 years ago, 10 years ago, 50 years ago, you made vows to your husband, to the husband, my husband, or your wife, just in a church and with your friends. But this time, you're declaring it to the world once again, renewing it. Renewing it. It is. It really looks like a wedding, although it's not legally binding, but it is binding in front of God. It's ceremonial, but the level of spiritual experience that you feel. I mean, you have attended it so many times, right? And then the more you renew, the more you declare your love, the more you rekindle that love relationship, that excitement and hopeful feeling when your love is on fire, right, Mr. Fires?
Correct.
Then, together with many couples, and yes, we can do it. And we can do it for our children. And together, there is a spark of love coming out from husband and wife. And then our young people will be watching us. And they're like, wow, this is something beautiful going on. I want to be like my parents. Then it sends a message that family is a beautiful thing.
So that the focal point of the whole
Yes.
festival.
Yes.
To try and rekindle everything in front of the world. So this is not just for Palawan family.
Oh no.
We're just
no,
using
no.
this.
It's for
This
everyone.
is just a place and a time to speak to the world.
Yes.
So to invite it there, it means you're part of the world movement.
Yes, yes.
So thanks for inviting the Palawan. So please attend based on. And
Yeah.
then any other things?
There are so many things I want to share. Yeah.
Time is yours.
Yes. I think as a woman, I started in this advocacy at a young age. I was 18 years old. And way back then, I was introduced to this premise of life that we need to live a purpose-driven life. Without knowing our purpose, then we would be like a ship sailing without a destination. So, then we set our priorities. For example, before setting the goal of finding the husband of my dream, I need to first understand what it takes to get there. So that it's like making a business plan for the success of your own marriage. So, starting out a plan to have a beautiful family is really important because without that principle, understanding that the family itself has a purpose. So, living a purpose-driven life, it's not just about having a nice house, a beautiful children, or anything, the diamonds, or everything that materialistic world could offer to us. But it is something about before getting married, I have to make myself a better person, understanding about my responsibilities, my role as a wife, my role as a mother, my role as a sister, and my role in the community. So this is part of the education program for the young people. The women, they have the power to make an imminent change in this world, and even an empowered woman can change the course of history. So and then when that empowered woman and inspired woman can inspire a man,
Yeah, they say that the better men have a strong women.
Yes, and I believe in the saying that the hands that rocks the cradle rules the world.
Where's the world?
Because even the presidents, they have their own mom, right?
Yeah.
And so that before getting married, the wife needs to know the law of love. The love and marriage is something so beautiful. Can enjoy it to the maximum level and the source of our happiness. But once we violate the law of love, it also brings us misery.
Misery and
Right.
everything.
I'd like to, maybe he wants to
Yeah,
add more.
she talks about a lot about women. What about us, the men?
Yeah, of course, men need to know their role as well,
Yeah.
and they need to know the value of women, and what they can bring, bring to the table of the family. The world has been a very unbalanced world because it's been very controlled by men historically, and men make armies, they build buildings and big things, but women are very important in nurturing the family and giving the love, especially. Women mentoring the children is so important because naturally women are very sacrificial. I can say more than men. Right from the birth, giving pain to the giving birth, and then nurturing them at their breast, and then feeding them, changing their clothes, all these kind of things. So this is just really giving love to the children, and so with the love, they can now give the guidance. When you serve people and love them, they more easily respond when you give them guidance. So women have a very important role because they naturally have been serving the kids. And then therefore they have a very big role in guiding the children as they grow up, their sons and their daughters. So anyway, men should understand that role. They should understand the uniqueness of women. If you don't have an equal kind of man-woman sort of society, you're going to get an unbalanced. If it's only men's voice all the time, then you're going to get more strife. Men are very conflictual, very proud, but women are very more humble, usually. Of course, there are strong in both sides. You get humble men and humble women, but generally the characteristic of men is more confrontational. So we see in the world today more women coming up, coming up in their place. Starting from even the President of the United States, you would hear about Nancy Reagan, but before then you only heard about maybe the man's side, and future leadership, you hear more about women. And so women's role is very important. It's partly why we're even here in Palau, because you have a very matriarchal society, and women have been in very important positions, sort of controlling the money with the plowing women's money and these kind of things. And I heard that they even historically chose the leaders. They got together, and of course if you have more women in your clan, and support, then this is important. So Palau naturally has this feminine kind of motherly kind of side, which is part of the reason why the First Lady got inspired to bring, women leaders from around the Pacific and Asia to really point out their role and the importance of women in leadership. And so it's very significant that we have the First Ladies Conference, bringing these women leaders together, and then having this, family festival on the next day, to sort of bring it all together.
This is a very interesting society we're living in it today.
Yes.
And even though we're small and we're Palauan, we are also very diverse.
That's great.
The other society that are building this nation are the Filipinos.
I notice lots of Filipinos everywhere, and that makes
Take
me
that
proud.
opportunity and invite them
Yes.
to
Okay.
your
great,
language or
great.
whatever, but they should hear you. Because most of them, I have a couple of them in the house, left their homes, their families, and they're working very hard to make sure that love is rekindled somewhere
Yes.
through monetary things. The opportunity is
Okay,
yours.
thank you. Magandang hapon po, mga kapamilya, kababayan, mga Filipinos. We want to invite you for our Interfaith Family Festival. We've been going around, and many of our volunteers have been going around. If you see people, young people and families going around with these flyers and this, and we have thousands of already people who signed up for this, right? So, this is very important. We will have many also interreligious participation. We believe that a family is not just focusing on, I'm a Catholic family, I'm SDA family, and so we have our own family, but our problems in our society now is way bigger than our own religious background or family problem. So when families get together, outside the boundaries, transcending the barriers of our own religion. And when we get together, we become bigger, more powerful force to defeat whatever is attacking our families nowadays. So, for example, the drug addiction, and the broken families. Broken families, broken hearts, they don't discriminate religious affiliations. But there is a way to fight it. When we come together, combine our strength, religious strength from all kinds of religious backgrounds, and we put our power together and protect our families, then we can solve problems. So mga Filipinos, mga kababayan, I encourage all of you, please try, do your best, even if I heard some people, they said they want to take like the morning off. It is so worth it. Once in a lifetime event when families all over the world will come to Palau and empower each other to strengthen our families. There is a spiritual power in this thing. There is a love power in this thing. And our families, we get new inspiration and new strength to carry our heavy burdens that we carry every day for our families.
So you were not focusing more on the domestic violence, we're focusing more on domestic peace.
Domestic peace. This will give you, this half-day program will give you insights and inspiration how to create domestic peace. If that's what you're looking for, domestic peace.
Yes.
That's the answer to domestic violence, right? Domestic peace. And come to Amayong Center December 11. From 9 to 11:30 a.m. Together with all the great men and women of the world and the families of the world, then you will have the once-in-a-lifetime experience.
And I understand you are inviting some of the professional people to do the speaking on that.
We have a lot of, great speakers from the government, current government officials and former and civil society leaders, religious leaders from all walks of, from all diverse religions and cultures.
Well, that was nice. Anything you want to say?
Of course, even the President and the First Lady will be there on that day in the morning between the hours of that Merle mentioned on the 11th in the morning. So they also want to say something about the families of Palau as well. I mean, their big mission also is not only just to help Palau prosper externally, like financially, but also families to prosper within themselves, So that is their thought and concern about. Also, this has been co-hosted with the government of Palau, and we have been invited here by them to also have this event. They feel it's very important for Palau. So you can hear it from themselves as well, what they have to say about this activity that we're having.
Yeah, so aside from what I was mentioned earlier regarding the Family Protection Act,
Yes.
the President has also proclaimed December 3rd as the right of a child.
Oh, great.
So he was done in 1980 by the United Nations.
Yes.
He just put up a pledge again and signed a proclamation yesterday with the kids in the elementary school that they have the rights also.
Speaking of the, I'm sorry to interject.
And then he did again with a disability. He also declared a day for disabled people. So I think
On
he
the
is
same day.
putting rocks on top of each other
Yeah.
for the December 9th.
Right.
So
Right.
you may-
Speaking of the rights of the child, as much as we demand human rights, right? But children also, they have rights to a good, wonderful parent. They have right to live a good life. So to start with the best gift that we can give, the heavenly right and the human right that we can give to our children is first of all to have a good father, a good mother, and broken families. And that's the best right. That is the inherent right for all children, that they should have this guarantee of a good life while they live on this earth. And yeah, December 11 at the Amayong Cultural Center. I'm visualizing after December 11, when all families, Palawan families, rise up to make a commitment of beautiful families and peaceful families and loving families and children, and rise up and build a beautiful country, progressive country, heavenly fortune and peace will come to Palau. And you know, I can almost visualize that maybe 10, 20, 30, 50 years from now, Palau will become the greatest country on earth.
Thank you.
In addition to being a paradise already.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Before we say thanks to you, I wanted to say thanks to the First Lady
Yes, thank you.
for bringing
Yes.
what's at stake to this republic.
The First Lady is such a
This
wonderful
whole
mother.
thing happens because of First Lady Debbie Ramangsao, so we give her thanks.
Thank you. Thank you.
Also, don't
to
forget
First Lady
the invitations from UPF. Please be there. They have all the information that's been distributed everywhere. So before I say goodbye to you, do you have any last statement? I know I will be inviting you because there is a youth program
Yes.
on that very same festival, but we've planned that that's a separate issue.
That's a separate
Now that we've
issue.
dealt with our families, any final statement before we close, and then I'll invite you next time for your youth program.
My final statement would be thank you for listening and thank you for your time. And I look forward to see you again. And I think hopefully we'll be given another chance by you to talk about the wonderful role of women in building a nation of peace. And I would like to expand that idea and later at another time.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you very much, Jeffrey, for coming in, and welcome to Palau one more time.
Thank you, Joel.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Joel.
Say le programa que obralo ase ngari ngari reli girela au 2000 da sura klo toin morira December night. Me igong bisensis.
December 11th.
December 11th. That's it.
Ali.